to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I appreciate all of the love, all of the support that I've gotten from all of my subscribers here on YouTube. I actually don't take it for granted. Thank you so much. The truth is that there is actually no Stylish Naija without Stylish Naija subscribers. So I appreciate you all for subscribing, for following me on all of my social media platforms, for the love, for the shares, for the support. I actually appreciate every and each and every one of you. I appreciate you all. Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to actually cut and sew a high-low circle skirt. So high-low circle skirts, they have actually been in trends now. Let me say in trends. So all of my lecturers, English lecturers, just permit the grammar. So today we're going to be doing that. So I'm going to be making use of 4 yards of doll face satin, so you could see it. So that's what we're going to use. The measurement that we need for this video, that's for this class, is just the waist and then the length of the skirt. So these are the measurements. Okay, so if you want to register for my online classes, you could see my number scrolling through the screen. Just send me a message on WhatsApp. Okay, so presently we actually have about 7 classes here, so I'm going to just go over them. The first one is the new class that we're going to be launching this month, which is the Igbo Madam Blouse class. So for those of you that are having problem making blouses, I assure you that after this class you are not going to have any issues when it comes to off-shoulder blouses with sleeve that has straps. So we're going to be dealing with them. Regular off-shoulder sleeves, we're going to be dealing with them in this class. And then we also have our beginners class for those of you that just want to start sewing, and then we have an intermediate class for those people that they know how to sew already and then they want to advance, and then we have a corset class for you to learn how to sew a perfect corset. We have an advanced class for people that can sew already, that just want to upgrade to a new level, and then we have a trouser and jumpsuit class, and then we have a ready to wear class. Ready to wear class is for those people that want to sew, buy Ankaras, cut and sew and then sell instead of customers bringing cloth for you. If you want to start selling, so you can register for that class for you to know how to size them up. It is a simple process. So these are the classes. So thank you so much. So let's get to the tutorial of the day. Okay, so I folded my fabric, so I'll show you how I folded it. So I actually folded at an angle. So I just picked a point from my, like I told you, I said I used 4 yards. So I just picked a point and then brought it down like this. So I want to get the length of the skirt. So the length that I'm using for the skirt is 40 inches. So that's the back length, which is the longest part of the skirt. So I'm using 40 inches. So that is why I folded it that way. So I'm going to check that part to see. So this skirt, I'm actually going to be adding some pleats to the waist. So the waist that I'm using for this skirt, the waist is 40 inches for the waist. So this is my 40 inches. So I'm going to check from this 40 inches part what I have here, because I'm going to cut out 2 of this half circle. So when you fold at an angle, that's half of the circle. So I'll cut out 2. One piece is going to be for the back, one is going to be for the front. So I'm going to place it. So I have 12 inches here. So what I'm going to do, I'm still going to come down a little bit because I'm going to be adding a band to the skirt. So the band that I'm going to be adding, I'm going to be adding a band of about 4 inches band. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to measure. I'll take out 4 inches from that, from 40 inches. So I'm going to have 36 inches. So this is my 36 inches now. So this is where I'm going to cut. So this 40 here, which is 4 inches, I'm going to use this part as a band. So my cut is going to be from here. So from this part now, when I measure the waist part, I have about 16, which is okay because I'm going to pleat this 16. When I open it up, I'm going to pleat it to the waist. So this 16 plus 16, this is what I have here now, is 32. So I'm going to pleat that 32 to 20 inches, so it is okay. So I'm going to mark out my dimensions now so that I can cut. So I'm going to add 1 inch. So I'm just going to shift my tape a little bit. So I'll use what I have here That's what I'll use to fold my skirt. So I'm just going to go ahead now and mark out. So what I'm going to do now, so I'm just going to take what I have here like this. I'll mark it round. Okay, so I finished cutting. So I'm going to, sorry, I've finished marking. So I'm going to cut this out now. So like I told you, I'm going to cut out two pieces of this because I want the skirt, I want it to be full. So I'll cut out the waist part right now. Okay, so you can see what I have. So with this, I'm going to cut out a second one. So I'm just going to fold my fabric and then I'll cut out something like this. But I'm going to add 1 inch to it for the zipper allowance. So I'll just go ahead and fold right now. Okay, so I finished cutting both the back and the front together so you could see how it is looking. So I pinned it down. So the next thing we're going to do now, this is the back piece. So I'm going to reduce the front piece. So for the front piece, the center of the front piece, I'm going to reduce it to 30, 28 inches. So I'm going to use 28 inches. So remember, because of my band, so I'm going to shift my tape like this. And then I'm going to mark my 28 inches like this. I'll mark it like this. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to slope it from this edge now. I'm going to make sure that this part, I'm not going to touch anything on this part. So I want the sides to be long also. So from this part like this, I'm just going to rotate my tape using my 29 inches like this. So once I get to this part, I'll just keep reducing by 1 inch, and then I'll slant it like a V. So you see what I have. And I'll just slope it in. So there are some patterns that you can decide to use the 29 inches to reduce the whole of the front by 29 inches. So and what after reducing this part, you are still not going to reduce the edges. It's going to be the same. But what I'm doing now, from the picture above, you could see that the side also dropped. So it's only the top part, that's the center front, that came up so much. So that is why it is only the center front part that is up. Why this other side 29? I'll just keep reducing it until it gets to this part of my fabric. So I'm going to cut out right now. I'm just going to cut. So I've reduced the front. So it depends on how high you want it to be. You can decide to do that. So you see what I have. So I just gave it a slant here. So normally there are some patterns, like I said, you can decide to come up a little bit. But I prefer it because I want the edges to drop down also. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to pleat. So I'm just going to open this up. Okay, I'll put a notch at the center. That will actually make it easy. So I'm going to pleat this waistline. So it depends on how full you want it to be. If you want it to be very full, you can decide to use 3 times your waist measurement. For instance, if your waist measurement is 40, you can do 120. That one is going to be very full. But if you want it to be mediumly full, if there's a word like mediumly, you can use and double of your waistline measurement. Okay, so we're going to pleat now. So we're doing box pleat. So this is the center. So I'm going to do the first one. So okay, no, let's start from the side. So I'm going to use about 2.5 inches or 2 inches. So on this part, this is the right side of my fabric. I'm just going to come like this. I'll use 1.5. I'll just leave about 1.5 inches here, and then I'll start splitting. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take this like this to this side. Okay, I just want to mark it properly. So from this point, I'm just going to bend it. I'll come close so you can see. I'll just bend it inwards like this, and then I'll pin it like this. I'll pin it just to secure it down. Okay, and then from this point now I'll mark my 2.5 inches. So this is 2.5 inches here. I will take, I'll hold it like this to make sure it is straight like this, and then I'll bring it down to this part like this. So I'm going to pin it down. So when doing box pleats, you need to pin, you need pins. So I'll mark it, I'll just pin it like that. And then from this point, so for this other one, I'm not going to measure, I'll just pick like 1/2 inch, and then I'll bring it to this point just to kiss. You know, when you are doing box pleats, some part will be kiss, and then the other part is going to be box. Okay, and so from this point now I'll mark my 2.5 inches. So this is my 2.5 inches like this. So I'll take my 2.5, I'll just fold it, make sure that it is straight. You understand? So you see it like this. I will pin it up like that. So this part, I will repeat it, just take a little and just bring it here like this. And then I'll mark my 2.5 inches again now from this point like this. So I'm going to make sure that once I get to this point, that's this center, from here to here has to be 20, has to be 10 inches. You understand? So that means I need one more pleat there, or else the waist is going to be too small. So you have to pleat it, let it fit into the waist, the person's measurement. So for this, her waist is 40 inches. So this is the center. So I'm just going to mark my 2.5 again like this, and then I'll come like this. So I'm just going to keep doing that until I finish. So I'll go ahead and finish it up. And then okay, so you see I finished fixing them. That's I finished pleating them. So the next thing I'm going to do, now I'm going to do the same thing to the back. And then I'll take it back to my machine, and I'm going to secure it with a stitch. I'll do the same thing to the back, and then go and secure them, then join them on the side. So I'll bring it back and show you before we cut out the band. Okay, so I finished fixing the side. That's I've joined the back and the front together. So you see how it is looking. It's looking beautiful. So I like the outcome of it. So the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to cut out our band. So for the band, I'm going to be using 40 inches. So I'll add 1 inch to it for the side, for as allowance on the band. So I'll place my remaining fabric. So I'm going to cut out, I'm going to measure, and then I'll cut out. Okay, so I folded my fabric into two. The first thing I'm going to get the length, that's the length of my bust. Sorry, that's the waist measurement. And then you add your allowance to it. So the next thing now, I'm going to mark the width. So I'm just trying to put a line here. This is just like a demarcation. I'm going to trim that part off. Okay, so we're going to measure now. So I'm going to measure the length of the my waistband. So I said I'm using 3 inches. So I'm going to add allowance to it. So I'll make it 4.5 inches. So I'll be able to turn it properly. So I'm going to come to this side also. I'm going to mark my 4.5. So on this part now, that's this top part, I'm going to slope it a little bit So you note that the waist is not really straight. So from this part, I'm just going to slope it to this part like this. Just make something like it a slant curve, a slanted curve like this. So I'll trim it out now. So the next thing is from this part now I'm going to complete the measurement. I'm just going to mark it round. So I'm adding 1.5 inches allowance to waist. So it's not entirely straight, so I'm just trying to curve it out a little bit. So I'll cut this out now, and then I'll cut out a second one. So I'll place this on this piece and then cut out a second one because I'm going to sew and then turn. So the next thing I'll go and sew, I'll sew it on the top. That's the top one. I'll sew it and turn. So I'll trim out this part that is looking a little bit up. Okay, so that side got a little bit shaky. So I'll sew it on the top and then leave the down part. Okay, so I finished sewing my band. So like I said, I just joined it on top. So this down part, I'm going to fix it round to the back. So this is the back. So I'm just going to open this up like this and then I'm going to fix the band round it. So in fixing, I'm going to fix it like this. I'm going to just take this down part, this rough edges. So when I'm done, I'm going to use an overlock seam to stitch it round, or you can decide to use a lining to turn it, but it is bulky. So I'm just going to take like this and then I will stitch it around it, and then I'm done with my skirt, and then I will stitch the down round and then I'll place it on the mannequins for you to see. So you can decide to add belt to it. So I made two, about 2 inches, 2.5 inches belt. So I'm just going to attach it to the side of my skirt. So you can, this is optional, you can decide to do that, you can decide not to. So I'll come and show you the final look of the skirt right now. Okay, so at the end of the day, so you could see how our high-low circle skirt looks like. It actually came out beautifully well. So for this center part, if you want it up more, all you have to do is just take it up. That's from the way we cut, you just reduce this part. But for this is how the owner wants it. So thank you so much. If you find this video helpful, I would appreciate if you hit on the like button, share this video with your friends, and if you have a question, you can drop it on the comment section. So thank you so much. I'll see you in my next video. God bless you.